Hello everyone, and welcome to my review of the new Safi'Jiiva Armor set. This is the armor set that we got with the Safi'Jiiva Siege. It looks fan-freaking-tastic. It reminds me of the Silver Knight armor, which is an exclusive layered armor set you got for buying the deluxe version of the Iceborne game, the Iceborne expansion I should say. But yeah, it looks really nice, and apparently it changes appearance when you unsheath your weapon. Now, I haven't unlocked the entire armor set. That's because it's kind of difficult to unlock the armor set. You have to have all these materials from the Safi'Jiiva Siege. You will, I'm sure, unlock them in time, but one of the problems you run into is you kind of have to break Safi'Jiiva's parts in order to collect these parts, especially like the tail, and it is difficult to cut the tail. You got to have your teammates really focus the tail down if you want to cut it, and I'm sure that's true for the other parts of Safi'Jiiva's body. Yeah, I've heard people having trouble getting the horns as well, so you really probably will need to have part breaker on your setups, and you really, as a team, need to focus on one or two of his body parts throughout the siege. Alright, so it looks fantastic, but what about the skills? So when I reviewed it, the skills really are not bad on it. You'll be going with the beta version of the set. The alpha version gives you evade window, gives you blight resist, it gives you, I guess, maximum might, excuse me, but I don't really recommend those skills. None of them are really so important that you have to have them, and you can always build them in the beta version of the set. When we jump down to the beta version of the set, you get a very good looking beta helmet with crit boost, a giant decoration slot, and two small decoration slots. Not the most efficient helmet, but actually is quite good. Also, the evade window does help a little bit, but if the evade window had been an empty slot, it would have been a perfect helmet. The chest, similarly, is not perfect, but it's actually also quite good. One level of crit boost, a medium decoration slot, which could be whatever you want it to be, probably weakness exploit, and a giant decoration slot. The arms are really good as well. You're once again forced to take a skill you don't necessarily need, blight resistance, so you have 2 levels of blight resistance by default, right? You're going to have 2 medium decoration slots and a giant decoration slot. So the chest and the arms and the helmet, they're not like perfectly efficient. There are more efficient armor pieces out there than these pieces of armor, but what's nice about them is they're actually pretty close. Another thing though, you're going to rely on having decent decorations. At least you're going to be getting the crit boost built in. Crit boost is actually one of the harder decorations to unlock in the game. But you probably need weakness exploit. Weakness exploit is going to be a big deal. Crit eye is also going to be kind of a big deal. And that one, you know, not everyone has all the crit eye they need. The waist is probably the worst piece of armor in the whole set. I knew this. FanPerspective noticed this as well. It's just 2 levels of evade window, which does pair with the evade window on the helmet. So you're going to have evade window 3 on the build. It is nice, but the problem is, after that, you just get a giant decoration slot and a small decoration slot. Really, it's not a very efficient piece of armor. So if you were going to build the set bonus skill, which we're going to talk about that shortly, if you're only going to build it to level 3, you would probably skip the waist. And then down here we have the legs with crit boost, a giant decoration slot, a medium decoration slot, and a small decoration slot. Really, really nice. However, still being, I believe this is still being beaten out by the Garuga legs. Let's just double check. On the left we have Safi'Jiiva legs, on the right we have Garuga legs. And when you look at it, so the efficiency is quite close. Giant decoration slot. Garuga has 2 medium decoration slots. Well, you have crit boost and a medium decoration slot. Very close to being equivalent to each other, unless you didn't need crit boost. Most builds need crit boost. There's exceptions for like explosive damage builds. The big difference comes in the crit eye. Garuga's getting 2 levels of crit eye, you're getting 1 medium decoration slot. So once again, the Safi'Jiiva armor set's not the most efficient set in terms of slots, but you're making up for this with the set bonus skill. That's what's going on here. And I've heard the set bonus skill is really powerful. I've heard that it is basically going to be like the new dragon armor set for particular weapons, particular setups. Let's take a look. So Safi'Jiiva Seal is what it's called. Dragon Vein Awakening. Why do they gotta give it 2 names? I don't understand. The first one, you need 3 pieces of armor. The bottom one, you need all 5 pieces of armor. So you're gonna have that evade window, you're gonna have that blight resist. You don't get a choice. And then you're not gonna be quite as efficient as the armor sets, but you're gonna get even more attack. So take a look at what it says. Elemental damage, abnormal status damage, and affinity, bonus affinity when your weapon gets drawn. Okay, so it's just leveling up the base stats of your weapon. That's really good. However, it then says you're going to take damage when attacking, and this can be recovered by continually attacking. What do they mean by continually attacking? It means that you didn't sheath your weapon, and you didn't get interrupted, and you didn't miss either. So that's kind of a tall order. You're going to take damage while attacking, but you get all this bonus, basically damage. True Dragon Vein Awakening says, enhances attacks even more with weapon drawn, but take damage while attacking, and that can be recovered by continually attacking. So I need to finish the armor set and take this out on a few runs for fun. This is my initial impression of the armor set. This is my early review, but we'll be sure to test it out even further, and I'll give you my impressions in the future. You know, we'll be probably building optimized sets. I hope you guys come back for that. Let's talk about some of the information that we've dug up on this weapon. I definitely want to give a shout out to FanPerspective for helping me out with this. Okay, basic information and how it works. Dragon Vein Awakening. So you're going to be getting the buffs when the weapon's drawn, and you lose a little bit of health after you land. But after you land a certain number of hits, you get that little bit of health back, right? So you're gonna lose a little bit of health. You're gonna gain it back if you're attacking and not being interrupted. Let's see. So with 3 pieces of the armor set, you're getting 20% bonus affinity. Really not bad. You're getting 80 element and 60 status. That's quite a bit. And then with 5 pieces of the armor set, apparently it's 40% affinity. That's crazy, which means you really only need weakness exploit. You don't actually need crit eye quite as much. You get 150 element and 120 status. So what's interesting about the Safi'Jiiva armor set, you're going to be considering this armor set for a weapon where you want help with the affinity, or where you already have decent base affinity and you don't want to have to build crit eye, or you don't want to have to build weakness exploit, one or the other. And then also it's a bonus if your weapon is using elemental damage or if it's using status damage, right? And then the set bonus becomes obsolete because wait, hold on. The 150 element basically makes the Namiel set bonus become obsolete because you get status and affinity here as well. So that's very interesting. Fans suggesting the Namiel armor set's not going to be as useful here. The elemental and status is added onto your base value, therefore making the cap go up. Wow, interesting. Skills interaction. Crowd control attacks will reset the chain because you actually sheath your weapon. CT attack will reset the chain because you actually sheath your weapon. I think what he's saying is if you get knocked over and your weapon gets put away, you're going to lose your chain. Health augmentation does work with this armor set, says Fan. So what you can do, I'm assuming you can take multiple health regen augmentations, perhaps on some weapons. Some weapons naturally heal better than others, like hammers and greatswords, and you can build health regen and just kind of negate the, well, it's funny because I don't think that elemental or status is going to be good for the greatsword. It sounds like mid-speed weapons will definitely benefit from this, because weapons like the heavy bowgun using spread shot or the dual blades using their very quick attacks, those don't really heal quite as much from health regen augmentations, whereas the heavy weapons like the greatsword and the hammer, they do heal really well, but they don't benefit from elemental bonus element. Well, on the other hand, they're going to benefit from all of the affinity. Yeah, I'm already thinking about it too much. I need to get this armor set built. Let's go ahead and wrap up this review. So he says, recovery up does stack with the regen when attacking with multiple hits. So recovery up is a skill you might consider. Divine blessing does not reduce the damage that you take. Latent power and resentment do not work off of the damage that you take from this armor set. Really, resentment doesn't work? You'd think resentment would work. Weapon interactions. Oh, this is a really good list here. He says the amount of hits you need to heal. The greatsword, you're going to need 5 hits. The hunting horn, you're going to need 5 hits. It says that damage ticks from echo spin only count as 2 hits. Ooh, this is really nice information. Insect glaive is going to need 10 hits. The kinsect does not count. Dual blades will need 20 hits. Shouldn't be too bad. The dual blade hits really fast. Charge blade needs 8 hits. File ticks, savage axe ticks do not count. Sade only counts as 4 hits with 3 hits from the axe and 1 from the side swing. Shield thrust counts as 2 hits. Oh, shield thrust is pretty good then. The gun lance is going to need 8 hits. Shelling does count. The hit from Wormstake blast does not. Full burst is going to count as 1 hit. Full burst is when you have like normal shells and you release them all at the same time. Wormstake counts as 2 hits. Okay, heavy bowgun is going to need 7 hits. All the spread pellets from a spread shot is not going to count. You have to fire it 7 times before you get the health regen augment, or the health to come back, right? The proc from the set bonus skill. And it says it's the same with all ammo like Pierce and Elemental. So each time you shoot is what's getting counted, not the actual damage they deal. Like some of them proc multiple times when they hit. The longsword needs 6 hits. That sounds really good. So just looking at this armor set already sounds like it favors the longsword. EI will reset your attack chain though. Oh, probably because you sheathed your weapon. And then the switch axe is going to be 6 hits as well. It says file ticks do not count, and zero sum discharge counts as 3 to 4 hits. The light bowgun counts as 10 hits. He does not have information on the lance or the hammer. Thank you very much, Fan, for that list. We will be doing lots more investigating on this armor set, especially when I have it crafted in the future. Let me know what you guys thought of the initial impression of this armor set. 40% affinity is crazy for a set bonus skill, plus the elemental or the status. I mean, this will very likely become if I had to guess, because of that 40% affinity is just built in, if you have a weapon that is not fully relying on like a tiny bar of purple sharpness, this is going to become your go-to armor set. So I feel like this actually makes the Nergigante weapons even stronger. But what's interesting is with the SafiJiiva weapons being able to kind of aim for something like a Master's Touch, I'm wondering if we're going to see Master's Touch setups that use 3 pieces of this armor set for the bonus 20% affinity. We'll have to see. It's sounding like a very powerful armor set. I'm sure we're going to find out more about it in the future. We're going to see more impressions. Especially, I'll be keeping my eyes out to see what speedrunners do with this, if they use it at all, but I already suspect they will be. Okay, that's my initial review. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.